Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. I am an intuitive reader, a manifesting coach, a Reiki practitioner, and a life path guide and mentor here to help you along your awakening journey so that you can co-create the life of your dreams. And as I was just saying that, I was thinking about how I'm really just a mentor. That is, right now I feel like I'm going through a little bit of an identity, not crisis, but trying to figure out, what do I really want to do? Who do I want to be? And I'm sharing this video with all of you. We're going to pull some pages from some of my favorite books too, but I'm kind of just going to flow and riff and see what comes out of my mouth, because I've been through such an awakening the last 2 days. I went through an ego death. I went through a psychic attack. I just felt like somebody like just took me and just squeezed me. And I don't know. I just don't know how to describe it, but it was painful as all hell. And I just was like, oh my gosh, I need to make a video on this and share this and let other people know that if you're going through this too, it is completely normal. And excuse my redness. I got kissed by the sun today. I'm not apologizing for it because after the 2 days that I had, I was like, I need to just ground and just be on Mother Earth and just freaking not move. Just not move and just be there. And that's what I got to do today. So I'm feeling so refreshed. I feel ready to film. And I just have felt so out of alignment the last 2 days. So I'm going to talk about it here. Okay, so how do you know that you've been psychically attacked? Or how do you know if you're off your path, right? How does your soul talk to you and tell you that something is not right? So recently I manifested an opportunity to work at a preschool. And I was thinking, you know what? Like, I'm on Zoom all day long, coaching people, doing readings. I'm always in airy fairyland doing, living in the spiritual realm. Most of my work is doing that, right? I'm always channeling messages. So I was thinking, like, I need more of like, I need to spend some time on earth doing like 3D things. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll work with kids, right? And I had been putting it out there, been manifesting it. And then I got this opportunity to work at a preschool to kind of be extra hands and be a sub. Well, I tested it out and my entire body had a visceral reaction. Even before I went there, I was getting ready in the morning and I was just sad. I was like, what is this sadness right now? And I thought it had to do with the solar eclipse. But then I realized it wasn't that. And I normally have emotion and get sad prior to new moons, prior to full moons. I don't normally get it on the day of the new moon. So I'm getting ready to go to the school, drying my hair. I get all dressed. I go sit on my deck. I meditate because I'm trying to prepare and I'm trying to get out of this funk. I'm like, why do I feel like crap? I feel sad. Like I kept wanting to cry as I was curling my hair. And I'm like, what is this? I'm like, maybe I'm just sensing somebody I'm about to go be with. Because sometimes it happens in my readings. If I have a reading at 5 p.m., around 11 a.m., I might have this, I might just feel what they're going through. My guides do that. They allow me to sense because I am a feeler, clairsentient. I can feel what my clients feel. So I was like, all right, maybe I'm just sensing some of these kids. Maybe I'm sensing the energy of the school. I didn't know what it was, but I was just like, okay, let me just ride the wave. I'm not going to judge it. There's a solar eclipse. I'm not going to judge it because of that either. I'm just going to go and I'm going to put on my big girl pants and just see what it's like. So I go there and I'm in the classroom and I'm feeling things out. I'm trying to figure out like where they need me, how I don't want to overstep. Um, but the whole time I was there, I found myself, I kept looking at my watch and I kept going, what time is it? Am I almost out of here? And I was like, whoa, let me be the observer right now. Michelle, look at you. You're wanting to leave here. Your soul keeps wanting to leave. This is a huge red flag. So, number one, first lesson in this video is when you are not meant to be somewhere, you will look for ways to get out. You will look at your clock to see, when am I done? That is a huge sign that you are out of alignment and you're not where you're meant to be. Okay. Because when you are doing what you love and when you're filled with joy, you literally forget to eat. You forget about time. You forget about the people that you're around. You're just so in it. And you're just like, oh, this feels so good. Like even me just getting ready to film right now, I just was like, I don't even know what time it is. Like I just feel so good and feel so lit up. So first sign that you're out of alignment or something's off is when you're constantly, you find yourself, you observe yourself looking for ways to get out of what you're doing. And I did this back when I was teaching. I would always call out of work. I would always fake being sick. And it was my soul being like, this isn't right for you. You're not meant to be here. So anyway, I had put myself back in that situation and I was there checking my watch and I observed myself. I'm super mindful in the moment. And I'm like, but wait, why don't I want to be here? These kids are adorable. I kept like, we were playing on the swings. We were inside doing a craft. I got them all to get the little spots out. With each spot that they would step on had like an animal or the alphabet. And within 5 minutes of me being there, the one teacher was like, wow, you got these kids moving already. This is great. I had them like walking in a circle in the classroom, hopping on a spot, and then I'd say, freeze. I'm like, what spot did you get? And then one kid was like, a dolphin. I got an elephant. And literally, these kids are 2.5 and 3 years old. They're super, super young. But I jumped right in, took control, was able to handle nine. I think there was 9 or 10 of them at once. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, you're literally like Mary Poppins. What are you doing? and but I found myself looking like, even though you're good at something doesn't mean you're meant to do it. Okay. This is a huge red flag. I found myself wondering when it was time to go. Like as soon as I got done playing with the kids, I looked at my watch. I'm like, why am I looking at my watch? And then my body was so distracted by working that I wasn't really paying attention to just the overall vibe. And I had a wonderful conversation with the lady that I was working with. She was running the classroom for another woman that was out, and I was kind of subbing for her. Um, we had a great conversation. Her sister is a Reiki practitioner on animals. She does it on horses. So the kids were on the playground and we were sitting at the picnic tables talking about Reiki. And so that was cool. But then I went home, right? The day was over. I went home and I was so incredibly depressed. I didn't know why. I was like, what is this feeling? I went to the gym, got on the Peloton, was putting on music, blaring music, trying to get myself hype. And I'm like, what is this energy? I cannot get out of this depression. And I was like, did I pick up an energy from the school? The school is in an old church and there's a cemetery right next to the playground. And I was like, maybe I picked up an earthbound. I don't know if you guys know what earthbounds are, but earthbounds are entities that have crossed over, right? They're spirits who have crossed over to the other side and they're still kind of on earth because they're not committing to going. And sometimes they can be a lower vibration, sometimes they can be a fine normal vibration, but they're just still needing to resolve something on earth. And they tend to cling to spiritual people like me or like you, somebody who is into Reiki healing or spiritual work. We just have that open channel. It's like we walk around with a door open. And that's when we have to learn how to set boundaries for ourselves. We have to learn how to command our spaces. And I learned that very early on by having an earthbound on me one time, and my mentor had to help me clear it. So as I'm sitting on the Peloton, I'm crying. I'm literally crying, going, why am I so sad right now? I'm so depressed. I don't want to live anymore. What's going on with me? And it was just like I was observing these thoughts. And I'm like, what is going on? And that was around 2 p.m. on the day of the solar eclipse. So I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't 2 p.m. Maybe it was like 12:30 because I went out to watch the solar eclipse with a couple people that work at my complex. So it was before that, but I just was so sad and I couldn't kick the feeling. Then I came back to my apartment, took a bath, did all my cleansing routines, cut cords, was trying to remove everything off of my field, sat on my back deck, and then I journaled and I just started crying again. And I was just like, oh no, this reminds me of the days where because I'm clairsentient, I can feel when global things are happening. So anytime there was like a mass shooting somewhere in the world, whether it was in Texas, whether it was in California or certain schools, maybe it was a shopping center or a mall, I would always cry so deeply, like a half hour before we would get the notification on the news or on an app on your phone that something was happening in the world. So I intuitively sense these things. So I'm sitting on my back deck going, no, oh my God, something bad's going to happen and we're going to see it on the news. Oh, I hate this. I hate that I feel this right now. I couldn't shake it. And that's when a couple of the women came out and they were looking at the solar eclipse. They're like, Michelle, come down here. And I was like, I'm not in a good energy. I think I'm just going to stay up here. They're like, come on, come down. And they're like, it's so beautiful. You have to see it. So, of course, I went down. Um, and like I said, I'm going to pull pages in this video. I just felt like somebody was like, where's this video going? But hopefully not. Hopefully you guys like my stories. Um, so I ended up going down there and I just felt like my soul was literally screaming at me saying, Michelle, you're so out of alignment. You're not filming right now. You're not attending to your community. You're literally thinking about the preschool. Maybe you picked up an energy at the preschool. Maybe there's an earthbound on you, but I just felt like I was not in my body. I'm like, where am I? Where did I go? So I watched the solar eclipse for a while. Then I came back up, still felt antsy. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go for a drive. So I went for a drive. And actually before that happened, there was a guy in the complex when I was walking back from watching the solar eclipse. There's one of my guy friends who works here, and I stopped talking to him, and I swear he like looked at me funny. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I could just see it in his eyes. It's like he could see, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like he could see that I was not there and something was off. And like me looking at him, looking at me made me realize I'm not myself right now. Like I need to get back to Michelle. I feel so lost. So I got in my Jeep. One of my favorite things to do is to go for a drive, get some candy, listen to music, try to lift my mood. So I do that. I go to 7-Eleven and the lady, the cashier, she's one of my favorite ladies. She even looked at me the same way. She looked in my eyes and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm just having a weird day." Again, it could have been the eclipse. I don't know. So, but then she ends up saying something. She was so positive, and I left going, okay, I feel like a little bit more me. I feel like I'm back in my body. And then, I went on my drive, came back home, and I just was thinking thoughts like really intrusive thoughts. So, the way you've been psychically attacked is when you're having hateful thoughts towards other people, you aren't liking yourself, you are just so pessimistic about life. You're just like, and this is not like me, right? Like I'm super positive. I'm like rainbows and sunshine all the time. So for literally ever since I went to that school to when 8 p.m., I'm thinking all of these negative thoughts. I'm hating my life. I'm so sad. I'm worried about bad things happening in the world. I'm like, where did Michelle go? And I just felt like I sold my soul to somebody and they had it. I don't know how else to describe it, but I couldn't find myself. And let me tell you, when you're in that energy and you can't come back, you really feel doom. You feel scared. So I understand how people can go to a dark place in their head and they can feel lost because I felt that way. But I now know I've been there before because it's a psychic attack. It's a lower vibration that has hijacked my body and it's making me think all of these fearful, scary thoughts. And it was just hatred. I could just feel hatred all around me. And I was just like, man, this energy is huge and I can't get rid of it. So then I texted my mentor because she's magical and sometimes she can just pray and she can be like, Michelle, I'm just going to send you Reiki energy and she can clear me. So I texted her and I'm in the bathtub. It's late at night. And all of a sudden I feel the energy lift. And I'm like, what is this? I'm like, all of a sudden it's going away. I was just like, she must be praying for me. And she had not responded to my text. So I don't know if she got it, but I just felt better. So I got in my jammies, got in my bed, put my little fan on. I was like, oh my God, finally I'm back in my body. And I went to sleep and I slept so good. But meanwhile, I woke up and I didn't respond to my mentor's text in the morning because my phone was dead because I didn't plug it in. And I was on my back deck meditating at like 7:45 in the morning. And then I get a phone call from my mentor and she was crying. Are you okay? Oh my God, I thought you died. I thought something happened to you. You didn't respond. And you were talking about being psychically attacked and having intrusive thoughts. She's like, you cannot do this to me. She thought I like literally something bad happened to me. And I felt bad because my phone died and I just didn't know. So I've had a crazy 24 to 48 hours. And I believe it is because I was so out of alignment. I put myself in a position to be at a job that wasn't a match to me. And I and my guides and angels made it super, super clear that is not your path, Michelle. So, if any of this rings a bell in your life, if you are going somewhere and you're leaving feeling the way I felt depressed, I felt sad for no reason, I felt like I had hateful thoughts, and I'm like, what is this energy? You might have been psychically attacked. And these attacks happen. Here's the key point, write this down. The reason why I got attacked is because I was already in a low vibration. So if you remember my morning, I was already sad. And I believe because I was out of alignment and I was going to a job that was not a match to me, but I didn't know it yet, I had to explore it and get clarity on it. But I literally was sad going to the job. So that was my first sign. My soul was saying, hey, Michelle, this isn't right for you. We're not feeling joy in this body. So don't go there. But I had to go because I was already signed up to go. And I wanted to explore it. I wanted to see, like, is the sadness the solar eclipse? Or am I feeling a collective sadness? But this is how you know. So that already put me in a low state. Now I'm in the classroom and the teacher had like a ton of items, not the teacher I was with, the teacher that was absent. It was like not hoarding, but there was just so many items in the room. I felt like there were so many different energies in that room. Then I felt bad for the kids. So I was in the room doing like, my own saging with my body. I was like, Archangel Michael, please cleanse this classroom. Please purge any lower vibrations. Please protect these kiddos. And I was being a sage, which is one of my gifts, is I'm able to enter space and I'm able to clear the lower vibrations. But one of the tough parts about being a sage in that way is I pick up earthbounds, psychic attacks and low vibrations. So it takes longer for me to kind of purge the energy. And I don't like when I can't purge it myself. Normally, long walks are the key for me. I can just put my sneakers on, go for a walk around my complex, like maybe for 30 minutes, and the low vibration is gone. But this time I could not clear it. So, me going to a job that was not a match to me put me in a low vibration. Now I'm susceptible to being psychically attacked or picking up other low vibrations. Then I go home and I can't clear it. So it continues. And this is all confirmation because my throat chakra is going crazy. But this can be a spiral for somebody out there, and they might think that something is really wrong with them. They might think that they're really depressed. They might think that, life isn't worth living. And it's so scary when I think about that because I know the state that I was in yesterday. I just didn't want to be in my body. I would have exited so fast if I could have. Like, it was so painful. I was like, I cannot go to sleep tonight. I don't want to be by myself. Um, and honestly, it took me a while to get me back to the state that I'm in now. And I wouldn't dare record a video in that energy. And actually, here's another fun thing. This is how your guides and angels help you. So I was supposed to have a call at 9:30 this morning with a client. And I woke up this morning and I did my meditating outside. I talked to my mentor. I apologized to her for not answering. And then something said, Michelle, go do sprints. You need to pound the pavement. So when you run and when you bounce, you're bouncing off the energy. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go do sprints in the back parking lot of my complex. And I'm really going to purge this energy. I'm going to get it off my body. So that was like at 9, I think, or 8:30. So I grabbed all my stuff, walked to the back lot, started doing my sprints. And then I just happened to grab my phone at 9:30 and I looked at the emails that had just come in because I always check to make sure if anybody's booking anything, I want to be on top of it. And then I see so and so has joined your Zoom. And I was like, oh, I totally flaked and I forgot my 9:30 appointment, which is so unprofessional and so not cool. And I just was like, oh my God, I'm so pissed at myself for going to that school yesterday because it literally has derailed my whole life for 24 hours. It took me out of my body. And some people might be saying, well, it was probably just the solar eclipse, but it was a combination of everything. But I believe the solar eclipse made me go to that school so that I could see that I was stepping into my old life. I was returning, the eclipse was shining a light on what I don't want in my life. And it literally derailed me for like 24 hours. I missed my client at 9:30. I quickly texted her, said, oh my gosh, you're on Zoom right now. I'm not home. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I am still not feeling right, but this is what my guides did. My guides knew that my energy would have not been good on that Zoom. I might have passed, that low vibration onto my client. And how dangerous is that, right? God, I would feel awful knowing that I passed on a low vibration to one of my clients. So I think I missed and flaked on that appointment. I think my guides did that on purpose to protect my client. And I told her, I was like, I'm not in a good vibration. I'm like, I think this was meant to be. And she goes, yeah, this is why I wanted to wait to do our appointment until after the solar eclipse. So that worked out perfectly too. So along this process, when we are out of alignment, we are still being taken care of. My guide still took care of me. And even like when I was really sad on my balcony and my neighbors were like, come watch the solar eclipse, like that was them taking care of me, getting me out of my head. And then me talking to my guy friend and him looking at me funny. And he kind of like left me really abruptly. And I just was like, man, why don't people want to be around me? And I was just like, oh, I just think I'm not in a good energy. And I'm like pushing people away. So to recover, so now for the second part of this video, and which is what we're going to talk about, is 365 ways to raise your vibe. How do you recover from a psychic attack or being out of alignment or just feeling like your body and your soul is saying like, this part of your life is not good for you. We need to get you out. So like, what do you do next? Right. So my advice is, what I did was I followed that nudge to go do sprints. So my cycle of returning to me was I meditated in the morning, then I went and did sprints. So I moved my body, I got out of my head and back into my body. Um, Even though I had that little hiccup with my client and me missing it, I felt really bad about myself, but I tried not to take it like to heart because I was really trying to rebuild myself after having hateful thoughts for the last 24 hours. And then what did I do after that? Oh, then I came home and I put on my bathing suit and it was like 70 some degrees in New Jersey. And I put out this whole beautiful picnic blanket. I had my laptop going. I was listening to constant videos of Abraham Hicks. So moving your body, meditating, listening to high vibrational music, and being in the sunshine. These lower vibrations and these earthbound entities, they do not survive in meditations, in movement, and in sunshine. They can't. Okay, because your vibration rises so much that they're no longer a match to you. So they have to kind of dissipate and fall away. So about an hour into me laying out, I was just literally like leaning back on my hands and I just had my head back and I just was like, I'm back. I was like, yes, I feel so good. I was like, oh my God, thank you, sun. I'm like, burn away any of these bad energies. It's almost like, I haven't drank alcohol and gosh, I don't even remember the last time, it was years maybe. But it's almost like that feeling when you're hungover and you're just like, get this energy off of me. I felt like I was hungover. And I was like, but I don't drink. So what is this feeling? But that's what a psychic attack could also be too, because these earthbound and lower vibrations, they linger around alcohol and addictions. So they're much more likely to cling to people who are constantly vaping, smoking, drinking, because you're in a low vibration when you're doing that. You're not in your soul. You're looking to numb. So these low vibrations look for people who have addictions because they're in their ear going, have another drink, keep doing this thing. So we really have to clear the energy and make sure we're not, picking that up or taking that home with us or being around people with addictions. Like one of the first questions I asked was with the teacher that I was with, I was like, does she have any addictions? Or is this room a place where something bad happened? I thought maybe the church was like haunted or something, because that was really rare. I haven't felt like that in years. So and that's why I'm making a video on it, because I'm letting you guys know that if it's happening to me, it could be happening to you. And I don't want you to make any like crazy decisions when you're in that energy. You have to come back home to you. You cannot make big decisions. You cannot, you're not clear. So I'm sharing this with you to teach you how to remove the vibration from your body, how to see how the universe is showing you that if you're out of alignment, at a job you're not supposed to be at, going somewhere where you're not supposed to go, your body literally will be in a low vibration. You will feel sad for no reason. You'll just be like, man, I just feel blah. I don't feel excited. Like I knew that morning that I was not supposed to go. It was like, I call it the soul cry, where you cry and you're just like, why am I crying? I'm just sad for no reason. Because your soul is saying, this is not good for you. Get out of this. So I felt that before I even went to the school. So that's how I know this whole thing has to do with me putting myself somewhere where I wasn't supposed to be. And I'm paying the price for it. So today I sent the email, the message saying, I have to politely decline. I'm so sorry. This job is not a match for me. This is nothing to do with the program and the cute little kids. I think it's just where I'm not meant to be there. And she was like, oh my gosh, I love your honesty. Thank you so much. And it was just good. And then today I just felt like cleared, no longer needing that, letting go of that piece of me that feels, like I still was trying to put myself in that old Michelle lifestyle. So I just wanted to share that story with you all. I know it's kind of long-winded, but there's so many times where people are in their journey and they don't know if a place is right for them, or if they don't know if a person that they're with is right for them. Your body will tell you everything. And if you feel shame, guilt, if you just feel ick after you're with somebody, or maybe you're in somebody's house and you leave and you're just like, oh, I just don't feel good, that's the universe and your soul saying, stop going there. You're hurting yourself every time you do it. So let's find some ways we can raise our vibe after we experience these things. All right. Okay. Ooh, I like this. We have page 200. It says violet, which is so funny because I'm wearing purple today. It says violet is one of the colors associated with metaphysics, energy levels within the body, psychic abilities, and high ideals. It is a spiritual color that allows you to connect to the beauty, inspiration, and creativity within yourself. Violet will enable you to see possibilities when you thought there were none. This is likely because violet is the color associated with both the third eye chakra and the crown chakra, linking it to intuition, inspiration, and spirituality. People who tend to use a lot of violet are often thought of as mystical or mysterious. That's so funny. I know this isn't like fully violet, but it's definitely purple. You can't, the lighting's a little weird. It's like extra bright because my windows are open, but it's definitely more like it looks more purple with the book. Okay. Um, yes, mysterious. They are generous and selfless. Violet is a color that can make you think in a more open-minded way. You will look at the bigger picture as well as the tiny details and consider ideas and theories that you may have never considered before. And I think this is so unique that we got this page. And I was just talking about all the details of my last 24 hours. All of the things that happened to me, I pay attention to those things because I learned from my mentor that the universe and our soul is always speaking to us through feelings and through details, and we have to pay attention. So even just me, remember, I was at the school going, what time is it? I never, ever, I don't even wear a watch when I'm filming videos or when I'm on a Zoom call. I am so present and so excited to be there that I'm not thinking about when it's over. If anything, I don't want it to end if I'm looking at the clock. Or my sessions go into 2 hours and I don't even know it. So these little details, the violet is saying, like, you might be becoming more aware of the small details about where you are, why you're there. It's because your intuition is turning on. Your soul is becoming more, it's activated. You're turning online to make sure that you're on the right path. Because I believe in 2024, if you go the wrong way, you're going to feel what I felt the last 24 hours. The universe is going to make it real clear that they want you to stop doing that and stop going there, or just pull back your energy. And you're going to physically hurt, just like I physically hurt. My body was hurting. I was crying. It's like I paid the price for going the wrong way. But at the same time, I'm now able to teach about it. So it was a blessing, but holy heck, I even was supposed to work on Thursday, and I canceled. And I said, hey, is it too much trouble? Like if I just, stop working now? And she's like, no, we can get somebody else. I was like, oh, thank you. Like I didn't even want to go to that building again because I knew that my soul was going to be like, get out of here. You're meant to be at home filming. So the little details are important here. It says, where we end off, you will look at the bigger picture as well as the tiny details and consider ideas and theories that you may have never considered before. In addition to being a spiritual color, violet is also a power color. Use it to make you feel more positive about yourself and sure of your own abilities. Violet is also a soothing color. If you're having difficulties sleeping, use violet sheets, wear violet pajamas, or add a violet nightlight in your room to get a good night's rest. Oh, I love that. An overabundance of violet can have a negative effect, resulting in low self-esteem, depression, suppressed emotions of anger and rage, and insecurity. If you're wearing violet to mask your emotions from others, don't overdo it. It could have an undesired effect on your energy and your soul essence. And then the key point says, use violet flowers as the centerpiece at your next party to inspire your guests. Sold. I'm totally going to buy violet flowers this week. And I feel like as the lighting is changing outside, I keep getting redder. I'm really not this red. The computer's just making me look this way. Or maybe I am this red. Okay, so violet is the message there. Now let's do one more message before I leave you all. I feel like there was something else I was going to mention in this video. I wanted to talk about when you're off your path, psychic attacks, and then how to recover. Was there anything else I mentioned earlier on? I don't know. Spirit will help me remember. Okay, we're going to go. I am a special, unique person. Some of you, oh shit. Some of you aren't doing your life's work out of fear that you and your skills are inadequate, or that in some way other people have something special to offer that you don't. You have been given the talents, desires, skills, and preferences you have because they are in some way a part of your path and needed in the world. Much important work is waiting for you to wake up to your purpose and believe in yourself. Your work is important. Your contribution is special and needed. When your doubts come up, if the voices within you tell you that your skills and talents are not worth investing time and energy in, send love to those thoughts. Don't fight them mentally. Don't try to reason with them or argue them away. Tell yourself it is all right to have those thoughts. Let them be there and place a confident, positive thought alongside your thoughts of doubt. So perfect. And my friend Hedley Dorenzi, she is a law of assumption coach. On YouTube, go follow her, subscribe. But she always talks about how when I was thinking those negative thoughts for the last 24 hours and the hatred and the anger, I learned in the moment, I can say, I am angry. I am having hateful thoughts. I am pissed off right now. And you allow the feeling to be there and you kind of own it, right? And then you say, I am positive. I am allowing good thoughts to flow. I am so incredibly mindful and present. I am releasing. I am feeling good. And then you shift from the I am angry, I am hateful to the opposite. So she teaches that on both sides of the coin, there's the negative polarity and the positive polarity. I am lack, I am abundance. When you identify both, and you guys should practice this, when you say both, I am lack, I am abundance, you become neutral. Like you're not identifying with lack. You're not, maybe it's I am debt, I am debt, I am abundance, I am abundance. It's just neutral because you're accepting the debt and you're accepting the abundance. And then after you say it enough where you get to that neutral state in your body, you'll feel it. Then you choose the abundance. So if you're, I am anger, I am happiness, I am joy. You become neutral and then you continue to choose the joy and the happiness. And then your body and energy starts to shift. So I think it's cool that in this Creating Money book, we talked about when you're not doing your life's work and you're trying to find a solution, sometimes honoring where you are and accepting it and saying, I am this job and I hate this job. I am this job and I hate this job. I am my new career and I'm open to doing my life's work. I am my special gifts. I am my spiritual gifts and I want to start sharing them. When you use the I am statement, you're identifying as it, which then allows it to be there and all resistance falls away because the I am is our state of consciousness. It's God. So when we are using that phrase, we are, when you're using God in front of any hatred, anger, whatever, it makes it okay because you're acknowledging it. That's part of the human experience, that you're allowed to feel anger. When you resist the anger, you're creating more resistance. So the whole time yesterday, when I was thinking all of these intrusive thoughts, because I felt like I was psychically attacked because they're not my normal thoughts. I'm like, I don't hate people. Why am I thinking these thoughts? What the heck did I just pick up? Well, once I identified, it's okay, Michelle. There's a reason why you're having these thoughts. We're going to purge it. And I also felt like, yes, my guides just made me remember it. Ego death. That's what I was going to talk about. So an ego death and a psychic attack can be very similar. They can kind of mesh together because the psychic attack could, synchronistically happen to force the ego to be seen. So as I was on the Peloton feeling very depressed about my life, feeling really sad, I was watching my ego over analyzing, well, you shouldn't have gone to the preschool. You shouldn't have done this. You're not a good person. I can't believe you did that. You need to figure out your life. Why are you such a mess? My ego was getting the best of me. And then I paused and became the observer. I cried because I was so tired of the thoughts at this point. I'm like, get me out of my head. I can't be in my head any longer. And that's an ego death. The ego gets so loud and it's talking, it's telling you all the things that you're doing wrong and you're awful and you're this. And then all of a sudden you break free. The ego has to get really loud before it falls away. So this morning when I woke up and after I did my sprints and I laid out back and I was ready to film, I felt like I went through an ego death. I felt like I am new. I'm brand new. I'm now this new version of Michelle who knows what she wants and knows what's not a match to her. And it's like I had to all of this, like, let's say all the anger was down in here, but I needed to experience that psychic attack and that ego death for it to come up. And I had to think the thought before it could leave out the top of my crown. So it was like all coming up yesterday. And then all of a sudden it just shot out. And then I went and did sprints and laid out. And now I could kind of integrate all of that process. And now I feel like there's not an ounce of anger in me. I feel so bright and sunshiny and good and ready to film again. So all of that was kind of like a rebirth. I felt like I was being squeezed and going through the cocoon phase. And now I feel like this beautiful violet butterfly who's just ready to spread more love. But I needed to get out those lingering energies of anger and hatred and disgust. Disgust was a big thing of feeling for me yesterday. I was so disgusted with so many things and people and places. And yeah, it was just like did not want to be thinking those thoughts, but they had to be thought to release. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a huge part of the spiritual awakening journey because you're going to go through these ego deaths over and over and over again, and they might be sparked by a psychic attack. If you don't believe in psychic attacks, that's okay too. You might just see it as an ego death. But I think there's a combination that when you put yourself in a low vibration state, whether you go to a bar or a restaurant with a lot of alcohol addictions, maybe you go to a concert and there's like everybody there is drunk, you're walking into a low vibration. Now you're more susceptible to picking up these entities or these lower vibrations. So we have to just be mindful. If you're on this journey, just be aware that if you go somewhere and you weren't thinking negative thoughts, and then you leave, and for the next 24 hours, you're hating yourself for no reason, I would consider that a psychic attack because you weren't thinking it before. That means you've picked up something and now we need to drop it off and purge it. Okay. And if it was you just being at home and all of a sudden you wake up and you have all these hateful thoughts, that might be an ego death. Do you guys see the difference there? You weren't around somebody or around anything that could have picked up the psychic attack. I mean, YouTube videos, you can, if you're watching some movie that's low vibrational or YouTube, you can definitely pick up stuff from the phone and from social media. So be mindful of that too. But if you're kind of just like out of nowhere thinking negative thoughts about yourself, that could be an ego death. You might be starting the process of going through that squeeze to purge out any old anger, grief, sadness, and it has to come out through your thoughts, come out through the crown chakra, and then now you're free and you can feel good again. Let me tell you, when I got ready and I was drying my hair to film right now, I was just like, oh my God, Michelle, you're back. You're thinking your normal thoughts. I made myself a yummy like taco. I love taco meat. I use bison. I was just like cooking. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm back. And I can't even tell you how awful it was to not be myself. So I just want to prepare you. And please, if this is happening to you, maybe you might need to call your mentor. Maybe you need to call your healer and go and get the help you need. Because sometimes, like, I had to call my mentor because I was so out of alignment and I was having those intrusive thoughts. I'm like, this is not me and it won't go away. I've tried everything. I've done every cleansing routine and nothing is cleansing me. And I swear her prayers did it for me. But then my actively meditating, sprinting, laying in the sun, I believe that kind of dissipates everything and it's a process. So be sure to take action on those things to heal, to recover from an ego death or a psychic attack or being out of alignment and your soul saying, hey, don't go here. This isn't good for you. Don't talk to this person. Your body will tell you everything. So start listening to it. And if you want to learn more about this, I am actually teaching about this in my online community called Awaken Your Magic. I do live coaching in there. I do weekly readings. I'm going to start pulling away from the midweek reading on YouTube and only post that in my community. So I'm going to slowly start to pull away some content from YouTube because I would really love to work more privately in that community and share the content in there. So please join my community. I want to see you in there. I want to meet you all. I want to hear your stories. And it can be really scary to experience what I just experienced and not have guidance. And you would have the guidance in that community and the support. So I'm sending you so much love. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Thank you for supporting me and my channel. And I will see you in the next one. Mwah. Peace out.